Hey y'all, what's going down? It's your boy Larry Fly in the building. Real quick, man. So I just watched an episode of My Expert Opinion, in my expert opinion by the big homie Math Hoffa. Big fan. Keep doing what you're doing. Love the show. Love the concept. Love it. Um, so they had Canibus on the show, right? And the only question, so when I saw it flash through, I was like, oh, Canibus is on. I know Math is gonna ask him the question that I think everyone wants to know. Everyone wants to know, like, yo, Eminem called you out, no response. So I'm listening. There has to be some kind of reason, right? The dude says that some mysterious stuff that he can't prove. Like he can't prove none of the stuff that he was saying, but the powers that be made it so that he couldn't respond. All right. Um, he said also that he had a video where he resurrects Stan. Like when Stan goes over the bridge, he goes down and he stops the car. He gets him out, and then he writes Eminem back. This is Stan. Stan writes Eminem back and say, "Hey, he's with Canibus and stuff like that." Right. And I got to give big shots out to Matt Hoffa because he didn't buy it either. I don't think anybody in the shop bought it. Like what are you talking about, man? Like regardless of 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 who responds to you, you're supposed to respond back. Like like this is hip hop. Like regardless of what the powers that be say, whatever, your career wasn't gonna stop. Your career wasn't going to um it wasn't gonna change. It's almost like Math not battling somebody because they on a killing spree, right? So you're saying you got a MC and Math comes from battle rap, so you got a MC that just murdering dudes. Math is not gonna respond to whoever because come on, man. That's why Math didn't believe. That's why Math didn't believe him, and that's why nobody in the shop believed him. I don't believe him. Like they can't stop you from doing what you do. Like a hot verse is a hot verse. Period. Like you can't say, oh, there's an institution. The word he used is the institution, and the institution is the reason why I couldn't go back at him, and blah blah. And it's $1 billion company behind blah blah blah. I take the 50 Cent and Ja Rule thing, right? Now, do I think that 50 would have won the battle that they had? I do, but only because, you know, Ja Rule couldn't fight back. Do I think the outcome would have been different if Ja Rule could have fought back? Yes. But Ja Rule didn't say, hey, I have all these legal issues going on over here. I have all these, you know, this is going on over here, so I can't respond. He still responded back to the whole aftermath. Like he's by himself. So he still responded back to whoever was coming at them at him because that's what you do in hip hop. Like what are you talking about? You couldn't do it. You couldn't respond. Like you couldn't say not a word. Like they shut you up like that. Like I get it. Like even I get it. You know, I understand. I mean, I'm not for sure, but I'm sure that companies pay people not to play radio spins and things like that. I understand it completely. I get it. But you can't tell me that you couldn't drop anything um, to go after 50 Cent. You're Canibus, all right? You battle LL. You know, I think you lost, but you still battle LL. Like you went against a legend, man. You put up a good fight, in my personal opinion, my expert opinion. I think you put out a good fight uh, to LL of all people. His mama said, you know what his mama said? His mama said knock you out. So he had to knock you out. So But it's LL. LL, I mean, in my opinion, is one of the most dangerous of all times. The dude can go from love songs to battling. I mean, not many people can do that. I mean, in the same CD, it's crazy. In the same, it's hard to do. Um, so when you're telling me, man, when you're telling us, when you're telling the world, when you're telling, you know, Hoffa and his staff that you couldn't, when they're asking you a direct question, like you had to know that that question was coming. All right, and you're gonna talk about an institute behind him made it so that you couldn't respond to anything, like you couldn't do anything. There was nothing. They stopped you in your tracks. They was like, and you just stopped in your tracks. I don't believe that. I just don't believe it. I can't believe it, man. I watched a battle with Disaster. All right. And let me back up a little bit because it's almost like I'm talking to Canibus. I'm not. I'm just, I love music. I love hip hop. I love the culture. And so I'm just saying this. I watched the battle. I watched Canibus's battle. Let me back up. I watched his battle with Disaster. And I was like, okay, Disaster, he's not really um, one of my top. I understand that people like him. I don't get the way he raps, unorthodox. Um, but I get why people like him. So that's but you are Canibus. Like you went out with LL and you couldn't handle a little Disaster. Like really? I was when when you couldn't remember your stuff and you pulled out your book, talk about there's 1,000 rhymes in these pages. I turned it off. I never finished the battle. I I was I was deeply upset. But it's I don't even know, man. But that disappointed me. Give a reason, like, hey man, he was not the dude to go after. You know, I would have appreciated that, kind of response from you. But to say that you couldn't because or you tried, but the powers that be made it so that you couldn't do so, I don't believe that, man. I don't believe it. Just say, hey, he was, he was up here and you didn't feel like you could reach that high, which is crazy to me because again, you battle LL head on. I mean, so I don't know, man, but it's whatever, man. Again, it's your boy Levy Fly, man. I'm out. I just wanted to give y'all some food for thought. Matt Hoff, man, keep doing your thing, and I'm out. Peace.